Here's something else I want you guys to hear about Pueblo, and it's very interesting. So listen to what she tells you and think about it. And this is all to pull this back into the web pages of the historical websites that are trusted historical websites.
Great Flood of 1921 was not the first flood to hit Pueblo, only the deadliest. Prior to 1921, at least 10 floods had been recorded, including one on May 30th, 1894. The eighth.
Okay, so they had 10 floods before this, and then this supposedly is a picture when the 1894 flood actually happened. And so you can go to it. I'll try to link everything up today. I'll go through and tie everything together so that way it's kind of easy for you guys to put this together. And so one of the things I really want you guys to understand is this numerology. Like it's huge. There's a reason for it. So I want you to watch this and watch the guy's expression and how he tells you the Greeks in the 1300 block. Okay.
Unlike cities back in the Midwest or back east, Pueblo is micro-segregated. So if you were Italian, you might be comfortable living in the 1100 block of Elm, but in the 1300 block of Elm, you might have Greek residents. And so we have these incredible groups that are coming from actually first kind of Northern Europe and then Eastern Europe.
Okay. So did you hear that? What he told you? And so that's what you have to understand before anything. So 1872 is when they actually got the train in Colorado to Denver. 1871, I know I repeat this, and I'm sorry, but anyone that watches any one of these videos, you're going to have to do kind of a quick study. And what I mean by that, you're going to have to go through. Now, what I've done is I've tried to explain this in my other videos is I've taken my own, my own page or my own Gmail account. And this is what it's going to show you when you get into it is the uh, really? This is not gonna. All right, we'll do this way. Right. Okay, so if you come into share, well, this is what you'll get when you link into it, either one of these. The United States. So when I was doing this first, I was trying to put this together so it makes sense to people so they could understand building progression and time, what it takes to actually install something. And when you have only basically one way in until they build a railroad from Denver to Miss or Kansas to Pueblo, there's no way really in or out of this. And what I'm going to show you guys is another thing, and you have to listen to what they're telling you. Okay, it's very important. So let me get that for you. Okay, listen to what she's telling you, and you remember the story. Cheyenne got the train first, and then it went to Denver. And so they're saying the only way out was for it to go down south through Pueblo to go out west. So think about that. Why go 173 miles down, especially if you're going up to Idaho and to Oregon for the trees and stuff? I mean, you would be going to south for California for fish and supplies of that fruit and vegetables, but that's it. You have to think about this on a grand scale. Okay, so let's keep moving on. Let me make sure. I can't remember if I actually played that video. All right, so let's play it.
Into the mid 1920s, all rail traffic heading west over the Colorado Rockies had to travel through Pueblo. From Denver's perspective, that was a 173-mile detour.
So what I want to ask you is why would Pueblo, and let me point this out to you. Pueblo's a small town. The only thing that it had going for it was a steel mill at the time. And they even tell you in that the PBS special, the public bullshit station. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a lot for that one. But anyway, let's move on to the public. I'm sorry. Let's go back to this. So if you go into this, into my files, this first one with the whole thing, anything you can look at, I've tried to collect and organize. When I loaded it on here, it got weird, and I've been trying to clean it up ever since. But this was my first one that I did, and this covers Pueblo as best I could. So, how I said I was going to tie this back into history and our trusted historical websites. Okay, let's go. We'll blow this one up, actually. We'll get it all the way up. So, when I was first doing this, and the reason why I showed you that file, you can go back and you can see what photos they no longer have here. This one is very interesting. I've used this one before, and I don't know if it'll say it again. But this is supposedly on Santa Fe, and there's another one from the Pueblo Library that shows that this is Santa Fe and Second. And if you guys go into this one right here, and this is how much crazy this history is. It starts with the tree of knowledge, right? Well, this tree down here on Union Street was cut down in 1883. It was the tallest oak tree in Colorado. Huge, because this was the last hanging tree that they had in Pueblo. So why would the PBS special not cover that? And you could go into your history and look, and it'll tell you about the guard shacks and everything. But you can see the Arkansas River running right here. And so that's just it. Is this Pueblo? And was this North Pueblo? Because the Arkansas River was a boundary. So these would be two separate continents. And that's what you'd have, that's how you have to think. And so when you go in here, it says the capital. Pueblo, Aggies buildings, they're all made out of wood. Until they got the train, how would they have been able to move block or anything else? That's the thing. Let's see, does it go back? Yeah, let's go back one. This one is very, very good. I've covered this in my other videos. I'm sorry, man. When I was doing this, it was a train wreck. I was like, I didn't sure that God wanted. I didn't know what He wanted. I was just like, what do you want? And you know, that's like I said, when you have your relationship with God, you're gonna find out who's who. And when you do, I hope you see the light of the world. So anyway, back to this. This photograph was taken before 1890, and then I also want you to notice down here that this guy's got a fucking hard hat on. You should look up the history of hard hats, by the way, and it's very interesting. But sorry, I kind of lose it because now I know what I'm looking for, and when I spot it, I just get pissed. Because another thing, so in this photograph, if you go into my earlier videos, and I'm sorry for they were just train wrecks, but here, look at this doghouse. You can follow that in this building through time, and then all of a sudden all these trees are popped up here that it'd take 40 years average for them to grow. And then down on here in Union Street is where they cut down that tree. You would be able to see the tree at this point in time. And I can tell you right now, this is before 1890 because the Union Depot is not built here. And if you look, there's a wide open, no train tracks whatsoever laid right here. Look at the bridge and then compare it to the folder, the photographs that I have in the folder, and you'll see the deception. Because time, you can't hide time. That's for sure. I mean, you could try, but you just can't. So I'll keep going on this, and we'll keep building the story to show you guys. But like I said, when you look this up and you look up the history and landmarks and stuff to look at. So when I was going back to Salida, this is what I hate. It did this weird deal, sucker. So I have my photographs of Salida, but I want you guys to focus in on this right here, this train station. And you can see that they built another one, and I'll go into the details of all that when it was built. I've been trying to cover this and I keep forgetting, but World's Fair, Chicago, was tied into Mineral Palace. And if you zoom in on this picture, all of the construction going on in the background. See all the trees? This wasn't built in 1 year. This took decades to build. And they flat wiped it to the ground. So like I said, it's time for you to stick up and fight for your country. Show you what's been lost by our world. The Indian teepees right here. Trust me, they have tried to mock and humiliate mankind in all forms. One of the things I was going to tell you is some of the other photographs are different. And when I was doing Salida, I was able to find these. And I want you to just look at the massive machinery it would take in engineering to accomplish this. And then here, this is the actual train depot. We're going to go through it. I'm going to show you where they added onto this doghouse in later videos. And then I'm going to show you the time lapse on this and how many times this changes. Supposedly within 20 years. How many times do you think you would remodify this in 20 years? You think you would do this and then you're like, oh shit, I don't like the way it looks. rip it out, redo it again, and you're like, ah, fuck, I don't like the way that fucking happened. And you just redo it again. How many times? And that's what I'm trying to tell you. So look through the photographs here. I told you I hate it when this thing does that. And I don't, it's, yeah, let's see. This is the back side of it. And you can see the horse and buggy. Okay, so like I said, keep going through these and you can see the, oh, what the hell is it? Train depot right there with the doghouse on it. The Monte Cristo, built in 1880 or occupied 1883. Notice the wood fence. Monte Cristo. You can see it in here on these. Let me see if I need to find one of the earliest ones so you guys can see that. Jeez, I'm sorry. You're gonna have to go through these one by one, but I was trying to wrap this video up with a golden treat at the end, so that way we can keep going on this because there's so much information to cover. Get tree growth and how all of that has been affected in Salida, Colorado, when it was built in 1880, or when they got the train. And this is the one I'm trying to show you right here. The Monte Cristo is not in yet, so this is before 1883, even before they done construction. And you can see right here the house, the island in the middle of the river. And if you look through the photographs, you'll see how this changes and comes out to right here, where they backfill all this in. These buildings are the originals. And if you follow it, you can see where these eventually go away. They said they had a fire in 1883, 1886. I'm telling you, if you follow this, you'll see where the lies start. So no doghouse on top of the train depot in Salida, Colorado. So this has to be the earliest photograph because there is no Monte Cristo here. Hotel. And then also you'll notice that this house is different. So the more you look through this, oops, it's finished wrong. The more you look through this, you can see here where they backfilled it and now there's trees and a pathway. And that's supposed to be in 1990. The earlier one of Salida. The earliest one, like I said, with the no doghouse on top of the train depot. So how many times, like I said, in 20 years? And then let's go to this. This is the rainbow one. All right, so I don't mean to pick on this guy or anything, but this is just one of those stories that, you know, it's just like, yeah, let me just read it to you and you tell me. So I'm going to play this video and it's going to tell you the origins of the steel mill in CF&I, Pueblo, Colorado, and what it was built for. So let me use them and let them use their own words to explain to you what this is.
Originally established to produce steel rails for the Denver and Rio Grande Railroad's expanding narrow gauge empire, by 1910, Colorado Fuel and Iron was the largest employer in southern Colorado, accounting for nearly 10% of the entire Colorado workforce.
Okay, so I'm trying to help you guys wrap this up so you guys can put this together, but there's so much information to cover on this. And hopefully you guys are seeing what I'm talking about now, about the magnitude of everything you need to look at once. You have to think about the silver crash of 1893 and what that did to Colorado. Think about how much money it actually takes to build a road or a train line. Who was fronting the bill? Where was the money coming from? I mean, because basically money was just flowing out of nowhere. And so let me have you watch this and listen to what he says about building a road and think about that from 1870, 1871, and 1872 is when Pueblo got the train. And then 1880 is when Salida got the train. Now, the steel mill was built specifically for the narrow gauge empire, and I'll let them put it in their own words. But in order to cover Salida, you have to embark on these cities and touch base and understand what is happening at all at once in Colorado. All right, so let me play this so you guys can hear it.
In order to level a slice of the mountain and turn it into a flat surface, it's an enormous amount of drilling and rock removal. And in the 1920s, there are some machines that'll do that, but nothing like we have today. So you're dealing with very dangerous explosions of blasts using dynamite.
There's going to come a time when you guys realize that your trusted America that you thought were there to tell you. Now, I don't know this guy from Adam, but he's the director of the Salida Museum, so he would know more about your history than anything else. And so let's read something. Those who know me will remember me. I'm rather like Clark Kent, Superman, a mild-mannered reporter who is rarely confrontational. But this was too much. An avid historian and a firm believer in preserving the past. I was livid. How could they tear down that beautiful Art Deco structure that was built in 1941 to replace the old depot that was built in 1919? It was just criminal. I went looking for the man in charge, and they pointed out to the O'Connor. And you're gonna, I'm telling you, yeah, follow the money, follow the people. I'm telling you, this ties into the Civil War too. The guy out of Denver, as I approached him, I lost my cool and demanded to know what he was thinking by being part of tearing this historical building down, as if they were personally responsible. It could have been used for a museum, a restaurant, or anything. And this is what I'm trying to tell you. These guys have destroyed so much of our history. Okay, so the building he is talking about, that's not what oh, the train depot that's they had at Salida. Yeah, that's just a little too much. Pueblo again. All right, so I went through Pueblo. The one that he is talking about is this one. Was built in 1919. So what I'm going to tell you is they went through and they remodeled these, and then that's when the build date actually is what they're telling you. So how many times did they remodel this? And when you start to look at this, really analyze it. 1883, this was built. These are the original buildings. Smelting plant's not in. More housing. This is not backfilled in. There's a house right here. The depot doghouse. Watch the windows and how much it changes. And this house is another marker in time. There's so much here when you look at the railroad. Look at how many buildings come in. And so let's look at the building that he is talking about. Like I said, if this was built in 1919, look at how much more they remodeled it. And look at all the tree growth in the back. Who knows when this was? But look, there's a smelting plant. So let's continue. Here we go. This is the building he's talking about. This one right here. And they tore down the one that I've been pointing out with the doghouse. Now you can see the trees, how much growth has been here. Really, this is telling you 20, 30 years have passed since one of those photographs. Easily. 30 years, if not 40. Between photographs even. Like I said, when you go in and you analyze our history, look at the tree growth. Look at what's being built around you. Understand what it would take to get these up in the middle of the mountains. Nothing, I mean, horseback, mule, is the only way you're gonna get this. Let me see if I have this picture real quick, because this one's my favorite. All right, so this one is not the one I was looking for. I have a one with mules, and they're packing up like real small gauge railroad track for the mines, and they're hauling it up by mule. And so you can imagine how many trips they had to make up through the mountains. And it's just nonstop with this when you really think about all. Could you imagine going four wheeling with this and then coming down a steep grade and the brakes break? I mean, I'm telling you, this what they're trying to tell you in stories and what they're actually presented with the truth that is right in front of you. And so, like I pointed out in many of this, you can go through all of this and look at it, and I've covered everything that I can. And these are the ones that'll come to you. The state of the Colorado is the latest one I worked on with everything that I could from all of the places. And I tried to put this together as best I could in the short amount of time that I was given in order to redo it again. Ain't nothing like being in the hot seat, let me tell you. So anyway, if you come into this, you come into Salida, and you could go, like, I have construction photographs of, what they done, buildings, how they built, whatever. This one right here, if you go through the Pueblo Denver Library, you can see that they replaced these two furnaces in the smelting plant in Salida, Colorado. That was only in operation for 20 years. So you have to think about stuff like that. Like, how many times did they do a great reset? And you can see the differences between the two smelting. There's one. It's in the same building. There's the other one. See it? So, brothers and sisters, share the truth. I'll load up the deal. I'll try to do a couple more videos today, but my deadline was to finish tonight. So let me make sure I'm not over it. I still have about 10 minutes. So I'm going to make another quick video and tie it into this and watch you guys see what you think. I know this is going to be crazy for many people to wrap their minds around and understand. But here's a picture of Laramie Street in Denver, Colorado. I covered this. They're bringing in a boiler. Probably, hopefully from the rail yard, because if these had to come from Kansas City, imagine that trip. Taking that train, that mill train from Kansas City to this was actually in Denver, so this would have went to Denver, Colorado. And you could see the post office here. And those earlier pictures that I showed you of Pueblo, I'm telling you, when you look at this as a whole and you start dissecting it really, you can see the time errors when they built buildings and how they progressed. And I'm telling you, when you really look at this, I'm saying probably decades have passed, if not centuries. And I don't know who's in on what, but somehow we were conquered. And I'm telling you, if Trump isn't going to come out and tell you, then he's part of it. And you guys better fucking get that through your head real quick. This is what I'm telling you I found. I know what I found. And I know what God wants me to show you guys to wake you up. This is the easiest way possible, is what I was told, to help you guys reconnect with God and be a part of it. I'm just a man. And for some reason, God thinks it's fun for me to jump through fire. Which is fine. I'm used to it by now. He's always kind of done that with me. But the thing is, brothers, you have to realize we're all in this together. It's one giant world. So if you go into there and you go into life, and I hate to do but everything that I have, and you can see even Lamar Street change. And then this, what I was telling you, these houses, if they survive the purge, are well sought after. They're well built, beautiful, and all they've done is they've caused depressions, recessions, disease, famine, shortage, whatever, war. Why would somebody build this and not be able to take care of it with all the broken windows? And there's more. There's so much more when you understand what they've said. This is a tower in the Omaha plant. This is all brick. Imagine building this with fucking brick. the engineering feat alone. Sorry to cuss. I'm construction sometimes because it's one of those deals. But I got to tell you a funny. I should get a. I'll get a full cigarette for that. Nah, I gotta finish up my stogies. On this job in California, and I'm working with the guy. I met him up. He was working for another electrical company, and we both were on the same job. We both were doing the same thing, but we both worked for different companies. Anyway, we were both on block watch. Oh man, me and him used to run all over that job site. And as it started getting really built and more complicated, there was like places where the blockies could go, and me and him would run around, and we'd be like, "Hey, they're on the north side," and whoever was like, "Oh fuck," and they'd be like, "All right," and whatever they were doing, they dropped, and because they would be sneaky like that. All those fuckers, man, those guys. So anyway, I can't remember what exactly was said or whatever, but I told my friend Juan, I was like, because he made me mad over something. I don't remember what it was. Because one morning, I know it was over one of the deals. I was late for pour watch, and he was in front of me, and I'm just hauling down these roads, and that's in the middle of the Mojave Desert, and this is like Indy. I mean, this car, we're just anyway. He's in front of me. I'm late. My boss already called me and was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Getting breakfast." He goes, "Oh, that's nice. Supposed to be somewhere this morning." Fuck. So anyway, I don't remember if it was the cause of the whole thing anyway, and I just told him, "Shut up, pillow biter." And we just left it at that. We walked away, and then the next day he came up to me and he goes, "I had no idea what that meant. I had to go look it up." And I'm telling you, from that day on, everybody on that job site was a pillow biter. I didn't care anybody. Everybody was a pillow biter. So I mean, guys, crude humor, it's not going away. Women, I'm sorry, it's just not. I don't care. You try to, no. What you end up creating is these weird sex pervert people. And God has shown me the beautiful gift of women, and I want to hopefully share that with the world. And maybe we can change this and be the real progressive era that we should have been. So, I'm supposed to wrap this up, and I want to say thank you to all my brothers and sisters. Have faith that God is with us. Look through your history, see what you can uncover. It's time, brothers and sisters. I ask all of it that you do your own prayers to your own God, and ask truly for faith, healing, and insight, and ask wholeheartedly. Maybe that's what we need to do to reach God, is all of us, until God comes every day. Ask Him, please, today. So that's it, brothers, sisters and brothers. And I got a funny story about all that stuff too, because the pillow biter is just one of many. Yeah, yeah. All right, so I will try to clean these up, finish it up, and keep it going. But that's it. That's all the time I have.